Hey, my friend, this is Joe Bakhmoutski, author of Simplify Cancer and founder of Power to Be Happy. Right now, I want to share with you one simple strategy on how to completely eliminate compromise from your life. Because I think if left unchecked, compromise can just totally ruin your life. Because when you start to compromise on your core values, when you start to compromise on your belief, you start to give little pieces of yourself away until little by little, piece by piece, it's all gone. There's nothing left in the tank, and you're just running on empty, And doesn't it just feel wrong when you're giving something up? I mean, want to find another way, and another way is to go from a place where you and someone else has to compromise, and to always look for a position in life where it's a win-win situation. It is a really powerful way to be, because the reality is that we want to be in a place where everybody wins. Because doesn't it feel good to win? It feels great. And doesn't it feel even better when everybody wins? So that's where we want to get to. Because I think all of our lives, we've been just taught the wrong things. We've been told, you can't have everything. You got to give and take. You got to compromise. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, what's the point of having the proverbial cake if you can't eat it? I want to have mine. So there's no need to compromise. There's no need to do that at all for yourself or for anyone else. Because if there is some sort of tension or disagreement, you can always strive to find a position where everybody wins. I gotta tell you, I've been married now 8 years, and I have never compromised even once in my marriage, not even once, and my wife hasn't either. Right? Because we always try to, after all the screaming and shouting has stopped, we always try to look for that position where everybody wins. I'm going to share with you my exact strategy to do that. I think, first of all, this is going to work with whoever you're dealing with. Whether that's your romantic partner, whether that's your friend, whether that's your work colleague, whether that's your client, whether that's your business partner, wherever you may be, this is going to work. And I think the first thing you want to be able to do is you want to be able to just, stand your ground. Because I think the reality is when there's some tension or disagreement or some conflict, which is all natural, of course, that's just what happens in life. What can happen sometimes is when that takes place and you're dealing with someone, that then natural instinct is to kind of just push their opinion on you, is to really just push it on you. And that can be hard to take. So I think what we want to be able to do is to stand our ground and say, look, this isn't working for me. Let's just find another way. So we want to be able to stand our ground. The next thing we want to do is really to understand where they come from. Because the key to really get your point across is to really understand the other person first. And when they feel understood, they're going to feel naturally inclined to listen to what you have to say. So you could say something along the lines of, hey, listen, I know this is bothering you. I know that you don't agree with this. Tell me, where does it come from? Why does it bother you so much? And then you listen, and the person will just lay it all out for you. And I think it's such a key thing today is to just listen to someone. Because when was the last time someone truly listened to you? It's just such a rare thing these days, right? It's just such a lost art. I would think it's an art form, because the reality is today, when we just so often, get together with people, just often they think that listening is just basically just waiting until you stop talking so they can say whatever they want to say, and that is wrong, because it just feels bad. It just feels terrible. And, to be honest, I just catch myself sometimes doing that, and I'm working to kind of just stop that, because I know it just feels terrible. So when you truly listen, when you're there, when you don't have an agenda, you just really want to understand where the person is coming from. That just gives them a great feeling. Like it's really something that you can feel on a deep personal level of being heard. And that is what we want to start off with. So that's what we do. We basically stand our ground, then we listen. And the next thing we want to be able to do is just quickly replay whatever they told you. And we want to do that without any emotions or kind of agenda, and just say something like, hey, listen, if I'm hearing you correctly, then, we've been spending money without really checking in on how that process works. And now we run into a lot of debt and we need to do something about it. Like, does that sound right? So it's very simple, and it's really powerful because it's tangible proof that you've actually listened, right? It's great for them to feel that, but then you just replayed it back to them and you said, you're basically proving that you've listened. And now you've presented the situation, and now they're ready to listen to your perspective. And this is the time where you give your point of view and you can find common ground. So you give a couple of options. So you could say something like, hey, you know what? I understand that it's a problem. Let's work around it. How about we try a few things for, let's say, a month? How about we maybe, get rid of our pay TV subscription? How about we also maybe start to go out only once a week for dinner? And maybe we just stop getting takeaway coffees. Would that work for you? And then I think it's also important, you've presented this, it's also really important to agree to disagree. I think we have this myth in our culture, and we kind of have to, either agree on everything or, disagree on everything. And I think that's wrong. I think agree to disagree on some points and find common ground on other points is hugely important, because that really spells out and just puts boundaries in place, right? So you know that this person or yourself, this person has values that they're not really wanting to, give way on. And I think that's healthy, and that should be respected. And we should all strive towards that. So, so in this conversation, hypothetical conversation we're having about that, so this person might say to you, listen, I agree that, maybe we could lose the pay TV subscription. Maybe, we can try going out only once a week. But, giving up on takeaway coffees, I don't really want to do that, because it's something that I look forward to in the morning. I don't want to do that. So, and you go, and that's when you say, okay, no problem. That's fine. Let's try those two things for a month. And now the most important thing is you take action. You go out and do what you set out to do, and you check back in, let's say, a month's time. And you say, hey, we've tried all this, and look at all the results we've had. Or you check back in, look, we've tried it. There's some movement, but we need to do more. What can we do now? And you kind of just go back and revisit the whole situation. I think that's a really powerful position, because you've shown that. So if we go through this whole process, you've come from a place where you stand your ground, then you truly listen. The next step, you replay whatever they said, then you present your perspective and find common ground, and then you agree to disagree, and then you take action. Right? So you put it all into play, so the person knows it's not just hot air. It's not just words. You actually mean what you say, and you stand by what you do. That is just so critical. And that means that in your life, you eliminate compromise altogether, because you don't compromise on anything. You don't compromise on your core values. You don't compromise on things that are important to you, that you're really passionate, that are really meaningful to you. It means you're going to have more presence. It means you're going to have more respect for yourself, and you're going to gain respect from others so much more. That is the best way to eliminate compromise, my friend, and have more joy and happiness in your life. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Joe Bakhmoutski. I'm the author of Simplify Cancer and the founder of Power to Be Happy. Thanks for being here. I'll see you soon.